The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back on the road again with Tom and Steve. This is The Local Show. For those of you keeping up with things, we're happy to have you along as we roll through the summer. Hard to believe that we're in August already and we're talking New York State Fair.
You know, Tom, the older you get, the more the time flies by. I remember when your parents were like, when you get old, just like, boom, years go by.
Right.
And we were like, oh, yeah, it's fine. When you're a kid, like, years were long, summer and the whole thing.
Yes.
A year of school. Now it's like, oh my gosh. And I blame COVID because we lost a couple years there in the shuffle and it seems like things kind of accelerated.
Yeah, right. And then COVID kind of in the rearview mirror until you hear stories like this one that I'm going to tell you.
Oh, no.
My father-in-law goes over to Ireland where he's from, and he goes over with his sisters. He's got a couple of older sisters who are in poor health, but they're in their upper 80s, and actually one's in her middle 90s. And went over to visit, and they go to a place called Kerry, and they go from Kerry back to Dublin, and everybody he's traveling with gets COVID. I'm like, I didn't even know it was a thing. And all of a sudden they have COVID, and he's going to be 80 years old here coming up. And, he fared very well. It was just like a bad cold.
Well, it used to be people said, a whole bunch of people got the flu. And it was just the flu. Or they got the cold. Or they got that thing.
Or they got bronchitis. Yeah, whatever's going around. Yes, whatever's going around.
But now we got to, anyway.
Katie bar the doors. But he's no worse for the wear, and he's got COPD and everything, and didn't take a dang thing, and cured right up.
Good for him.
Couple 2-3 days, and they were all bad, and they're all in their 80s. So there you go. That's a positive story about that, I guess. I don't know. But here's the epitome of positivity. How we put that together, huh? Liz Krisanda is with us again. She's the territory executive of the ALS Association Northeast Territory. I think, is that an upgraded title?
It is. I used to be the executive director of upstate New York, and so now I'm doing the Northeast states, which is New York, New England, and New Jersey.
Did that come with a little bump in pay? Or?
A little bit. And I'm on the road a lot.
In the not-for-profit world, you're there for the money, clearly, right?
Always. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, they give you a big title. A lot of times you hear that, I got this big title, and they reduced my pay.
Yeah, you have a big title, Tom.
Yeah, I got a title, all right.
My son told me he was home, and he goes, Mom, you should go work for for-profit. You would make a whole lot more money. And I'm like, and you've known me how long?
Right. So what is it that you do in your daily life now as this territory executive person?
So I supervise the operations, really the care programs and services of all the, it used to be like the ALS chapters,
yes.
In the Northeast, making sure that all their programs are, high quality and that we're doing what we need to be doing and that we're offering a lot of consistency so that what you're getting in one area is comparable to what someone else is, because we really don't want someone's zip code to determine what kind of programs they're getting.
Yeah.
Also, working with the ALS clinics throughout the Northeast. We have different certified centers, and we work in all of those clinics, kind of helping people translate what their doctors are recommending to how they're living at home.
It's interesting, Liz, when I speak to people about ALS, how many people don't know what ALS is? They'll say, what is ALS exactly? And if I say Lou Gehrig's disease, then they say, oh, yeah, I kind of know what that is. Why don't you explain to people what the disease is?
So ALS is a neurodegenerative disorder. It's in the same kind of categories of disorders like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, those kinds of diseases. But what it is actually is the nerves that transmit the impulses from your brain to your muscles. That nerve dies, and so that impulse isn't getting to your body parts, which is why people with ALS will lose the ability to move, usually first like in their fingers and toes, and then it works its way up into their bodies.
Yeah, that's very interesting. A lot of people might say, well, what causes it? Is it a genetic thing or is it from trauma? And what have they found out so far?
Well, there are different kinds of ALS. So there is there's a familial kind of ALS, there are a few gene mutations that we have identified that we know cause ALS, and those would be the ones that run in people's families.
Yeah.
And people know it runs in their families because it is rife in their families going back generations. That's only about 10%. The rest of ALS is what we call sporadic, which is caused some we think by genetic mutations, which are spontaneous mutations, and also the research is really looking at what are the environmental factors. So do you have a genetic predisposition and then environmental trigger that it will cause ALS to start?
And then once it starts, as of right now, any ways to reverse it, slow it down, or get rid of it completely?
Right now, it is still a 100% fatal disease. Most people live 2 to 5 years after their diagnosis. One of the things we are working on with the clinics is to identify ALS earlier. It's not uncommon for people to go a year and a half, either not having a diagnosis or being misdiagnosed with something else, a pinched nerve, carpal tunnel syndrome, something like that. There are a couple of drugs on the market right now that are new since 2017 that slow the progression of ALS. It does not stop it. There's a new drug on the market. It's called tofersen, which is for one particular genetic mutation that we're seeing a lot of progress with. Right now we have 12 drugs that are in late-stage clinical trials, so there's a lot coming.
And they're to slow it, not heal it.
Not cure, at this point, not cure, but to slow.
And you went to a big conference you were talking about going to Texas. What did you learn down there?
So there was an ALS Nexus conference where we brought together all the different ALS organizations under one roof and really talking about what's going on, and then also researchers. And again, there's a lot of drug trials that are ending the trial. And for people to keep in mind, like the ALS, the Ice Bucket Challenge was only 10 years ago. And so we're now starting to see the fruits of all of that investment. And then there's a lot of technology. One thing I wanted to point out, because it's happening, there's research happening in New York State, is people might have heard about a brain implant. There's actually a brain implant that it's like a stent that goes into the vein in people's brains.
Yeah.
And they are able to control voice-generating devices, wheelchairs with their thoughts.
Oh, is this the Elon Musk stuff?
It's very similar to what Elon Musk is doing. There's a company called Synchron that's doing work in New York City and also in Buffalo. We have 2 patients that are in that trial.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Wow. So tell us about the SOC event coming up.
So on Thursday, August 15th, we are doing our 3rd annual CEO SOC in downtown Syracuse. It's where we bring together community leaders, and it's a fundraising event. Right now, our goal is $50,000. We're going to blow that out of the water this year.
Good.
But we put people. It's in the fountain, and they actually go into the Syracuse fountain and get soaked. It's our take kind of on the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
Our chair this year is Joe Lamperius out of from Chase Design.
Okay.
Our county executive is going to be joining us.
Very nice.
Dr. Corona from Upstate Hospital is going to be going into the fountain. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah. Now, what fountain is this?
It's in Clinton Square.
Clinton Square.
Oh,
okay.
come on, the big fountain in Clinton Square, where everything is.
But every time Tom goes down there and tries to wade in the water, they kick him out. So
the city is actually great. They actually drain the fountain the night before, so we have clean water.
Very nice. Yeah.
Oh wow! So at that event, people can donate to it, or how does people engage?
So we have a lot of executives, and they've been doing fundraising on their to bring it. But you can actually donate to it. You can go online, and I'll give you the link. It is www.als.org/CEO Syracuse. So it's easy to find, and you can just donate directly to the event.
Do you have to be a CEO, or
you do not? You do not. You can come on down and join us, and it's a way for us to bring together really our business leaders, our community leaders, and get them involved.
Yeah, well, there sounds to be a lot of progress being made. Hopefully, technology will help out in that rush. But anyway, we can help out. We'd like to, and everyone else can by going to als.org. And do they have to type in Syracuse as well?
Actually, they don't. It's geolocated, so from your computer, it'll bring you right to New York State.
Perfect. Liz Krisanda right there. She's the territory executive of the ALS Association Northeast Territory. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
You got it. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Mike Intagliata. He is the executive director of the Landmark Theater. We'll find out what's going on over there, what they got going for the rest of the year and into the fall. Right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.